Mhm. Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another meeting here with 1615 Capital Investments. I want to welcome everybody. Thanks for attending on the live stream or here at the meeting itself. I'm not going to keep you all long today. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the speaker I wanted for this month. We're going to try and make it work for next month. So that's the plan. So I'm not going to keep you all long today. Just want to have a few things to discuss today, not a lot. Still want to kind of go into the topic of multifamilies. Trying to get going, talking about different types, property types in commercial real estate. And this month I wanted to kind of speak on multifamily property type, the property type asset. So we will get into that. And then just wanted to bring back up 3 things that we want the group to be really focusing on. Like I said before, I'm gonna be just talking about this and just repetitively talking about it, so everybody kind of got an idea of what the focus is for the group. So 3 main things that we're focusing on. Of course, the number 1 is raising capital, which we've been talking about that and figuring out ways how to raise capital. Number 2, your business contribution to the group. So what, as you as a partner, is going to bring to the table for the group? How are you going to interact? How are you going to be actively engaged in our group? What are you going to bring to the table? And then number 3 would be learning how to analyze commercial real estate deals. Learning the language of the deal, learning the formula of the deal, learning that aspect of commercial real estate, analyzing commercial real estate deals. So raising capital, what's your contribution to the group, and analyzing commercial real estate deals. Those are the top three things that us as a group as a whole needs to be focusing on moving forward. Also, another update, I wanted to speak about the process with the credit card situation. I know folks are curious about that. I've gotten calls about it. So as of right now, as a group, we won't be able to use credit card processing. The bank won't take us, because basically their explanation was the type of company we are, which is an investment group, and it's a real estate group, so it's a double whammy. It's considered a high risk company, so they're not able to help us out with the credit card processing. So for us right now, the only way we can accept payments would be through cash, check, and money order. If you're out of town, you would just have to make a deposit to the 1615 Capital Investments business account, and you just go to your nearest Wells Fargo to make that deposit. Also, what I'm also going to do is try to set up a address, like a brick and mortar address. Right now, I'm just using my personal address for the company. I'm going to try to use UPS Store, I think, because you can still use a street address, which is what I need for the LLP. So I'm trying to do that. Can't use a PO box when you have LLP. Yeah. So UPS Store, you can still get a box, and they give you an actual street address to use, so you can get away with that. So that's probably what I'm going to go through. And then if you want to mail in your stuff or your payments via mail, you can mail it to that address once I get that set up. Other than that, you can just bring them to the meetings or just take them to the Wells Fargo and make the deposit. And then I will send you a receipt for that deposit as well.
So 1615 Capital Investments.
1615 Capital Investments. We have a business check-in and a business savings, just a deposit in the business savings account. Okay. So that is that. So I got that checked off. Also, the other thing I want us to kind of focus on, and we kind of I want to have like an open discussion about this today a little bit, was our first project. Like, what is it that people are thinking about as far as what would you like to do as far as your first project for the group? What have you been looking at yourself that you think would be a good idea to invest in as for the group? Have you been looking at commercial, like multi-unit multifamilies, or have you been looking at residential? I've heard that a lot. Are you looking at self-storage? Are you interested in doing the REITs? I want to kind of get people's feedback and start having a real open discussion about this. And you can comment if you're live on the Facebook page and just put your comment down on what you have been looking at. And we'll kind of go into and delve into a little bit after we talk about the multifamily type in a little bit. So kind of think about that while we're talking about multifamily, which I'm not going to have a lot of because I'm not an expert in. So we're not going to go too deep into it. But I just want to kind of talk about it a little bit so folks kind of get an idea of what it is, and might be a thing that folks want to get into, especially here in Nashville with the market being so demanding right now for it. So let's talk about the multifamily unit. Let's talk about that. All right, so what is considered a multifamily unit? For the most part, it's anything with 2 units or more. World, it'll be 5 or more dwellings. That's what's considered a multifamily unit project. So it has 5 units or more that is considered a multifamily. It can be an urban, it could be a commercial-wise, it's 5 or more. So it can be in an urban dwelling, like you've seen in downtown with these condos, or it can be in a suburban area where you see big 30+ units, 50+ unit apartment complexes. You have 3 different styles of it. You have your garden apartments, you have your mid-level, and you have your high-rise. Garden apartment would be considered 3 floors or fewer. So it just has 3 levels. A mid-rise would be considered 5 to 9, and a high-rise would be considered 10 or higher. So you got 3 stages of that for your multifamily. What are the benefits that come with doing the multifamily? You got a very good cash flow that comes with that because you have multiple tenants instead of comparing it to a single family home. We have 1 occupant and 1 tenant. You have a multifamily home, you have multiple tenants. So you have multiple ends of cash flow that comes with that. That also impacts your vacancy part of it. So if you have a 1 unit home and that person leaves, you're 100% non-vacant or vacant. If you have a 10 unit home and 1 person leaves, you still have 9 other tenants bringing money into you. So it's like a 90% occupancy that you have, and you're just trying to fill up that 1. So you're still getting money coming in when you're doing the multifamily property type. It is more expensive to purchase multifamily, but it's also easier to get it financed due to the fact that you have multiple tenants coming in. You have a regular income coming in. So banks tend to favor that a little bit more when you're doing the multifamily units. You have a month-to-month income coming in each time. And it's more secure, yes. Also, it's more easier to manage. You can either manage it yourself. I'm pretty sure no one in the group wants to do that from all the people I've talked to. So you can also bring in property management, which is multiple ones in the areas, multiple ones here in Nashville, local property managers that we can get to bring in to manage the multifamily property. So that's another benefit of doing the multifamily. You can bring in property managers to help do that. Excellent appreciation. So as long as we're keeping up with that multifamily unit, it'll be great appreciation coming up with that. As far as the maintenance, keeping it clean, up to date, as the systems and the design of everything that's going on, plumbing. As long as we're keeping it up to date, the appreciation increases. And then if we want to sell it, we'll get back our return on our investment on that. So that's another great benefit for that. And another great benefit, especially in the national market, is it's high demand. There's 83 people moving here a day in the city. There's a high demand for it. It's also a high demand because of the demographic side of it, which as far as the millennial age, if you want to talk about that, you have people that are getting married later, having children later. So they're just looking to rent. Yes, ma'am.
Who specifically would you be, so let's just say that you had some property that was a multi-family dwelling. Who specifically would you be looking to market that dwelling to? Are you going to target college students? Are you going to target young professionals? Are you going to target like elderly people looking to downsize? Who do you think is going to be your ideal client or customer for these multi-family dwellings?
The That's a good question. I think it will be depending on the location and area of where we are doing it at. I know the area that me and Eddie looked at, we was looking in my old neighborhood, which is close to TSU. So we would think we would market to college graduate students, young professionals that are looking to come in and move into the area. And I think it will cater to that area. So I guess it's really based on the location on how you choose your market that you want to bring in. Yes, ma'am.
So what is going to be the strategy that determines, like, are you looking to have like some places by TSU and maybe some in West Nashville? Like, where are you going to do, what logic method, or how are you going to determine where you're going to purchase these multifamily dwellings?
Also a good question that has yet to be determined, because we're still gathering data and information. So that's what we're doing right now, is gathering data and information on these areas of town of where we might want to look at. I know as of recent, the stuff I've been posting in the group, posted the stuff about West Trinity Lane, Nolensville, the area, of course, North Nashville. North Nashville seems to be like the next booming area right now as far as people investing into a community. I think North Nashville, the Nolensville area, and Antioch are probably gonna be the next 3 areas that will probably looking for good investment, especially around the time that we're looking to invest, which I think would be 3 to 5 years from now. I really think those three areas are probably the best spots to look at, just from my research, from what I've been looking at.
That's very well. Right now, there's a proposal to extend UDB to a 2-lane highway. They're attempting to build a bridge across the river to connect UDB to the Dawson area, which make that a highway now. So instead of taking 30 minutes to get from the Madison area to the Dawson area, it'll take 10 minutes less. With that being said, they're also going to revamp Madison Square, which there's quite a few properties in the Madison Square facility that are up for sale or lease right now.
Okay.
With that being said, they're going to put a Best Buy there, and several other high impact things. So the Madison area is a moving area with.
Okay. Let me pause. I'm gonna walk away from this 1 second because I want to make sure that people on the live feed can hear y'all. And there's a microphone over here. I'm gonna get that before I get started. Give me 1 second.
Y'all talked, I talked at the last time, we did the last meeting. So y'all asked y'all questions. Nobody else here. Check. This one, how did this work out? This is on last time. Check. Okay. So I'll let you say the last part, Eugene, again, so it don't sound so muffled.
All right. I'm just saying some of the research has also been good to hear lately is the Madison area is really about to get a regentrification project. They're about to expand Edie's Bean into a 2-lane highway, build a bridge at the end of Edie's Bean going to the Dawson area. So what used to be a 30-minute commute will now take 10 minutes or less. And it's going to open up a major byway and way around the city.
Okay.
With that being said, the Madison Square area is next to be revitalized. We're actually in the process of moving all the way down the street, so across the street from putting the Best Buy to the shop. They're trying to move all the cash businesses like the pawn shops, rental centers, things of that nature. They're trying to get all of those cash businesses out of the area and move in more profitable income type businesses, like Best Buy, things like that. I know as far as the West Nashville area, I've been doing a lot of looking into that area. For our investment purposes, I think it's really just way too out. A single family dwelling right now, sitting at let's say you look at a house with a square foot about 1,800 square foot, now running $400,000. So West Nashville, the North Nashville area, those properties are really like, almost like too late to get involved with because of the fact of the matter is the property tax are already established. So we might go a little further ahead with the 10, 15-year plan because it's operating starting income costs.
I can definitely cool that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So yeah, definitely the Madison area. You have a question? Okay. We're having fun with this microphone, y'all. Just letting y'all know.
Okay. So I have a question, and then I have like a statement that might
Give it all to me.
Okay. So my question is, when you think about, you know, purchasing a residential property with hope of, you know, turning it into capital for, to, you know, to make some larger commercial real estate investment, would you be willing to consider Airbnb? Like, you know, because they are like all along Fourth Avenue, like
Mm-hmm.
near Meta Logic, Houston Station. A lot of those new condos, they're not for monthly rentals. They're strictly Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who is an interior designer, and all she does is work on Airbnb properties. I have another friend who rents her second room out in her house that's Airbnb properties. And my understanding is that there aren't enough.
Mm.
And so we're thinking about that. It may be, that may be something that might be good to
Absolutely.
consider.
Yep, absolutely. That was a great post you put in there, Eddie, this past week about Airbnbs. So seems like there's a lot of stuff going on there legally right now that they're trying to work out. Definitely something to look into. I think that'd be a great thing to look into as well.
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. And then, so potentially we can start with an Airbnb property, right? Because
Yes.
theoretically, you can rent an Airbnb property out for a week or a weekend and make what you would make on somebody's monthly.
Got you. So you're saying to purchase a residential property and then use it as an Airbnb. Is that what I'm hearing? That's genius. I like it.
But here's the thing. So remember when Lance Bloom came in and he talked about the way to get the bank's approval on this large commercial investment would be to scope out the building,
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what kind of terms you want to get a tenant, a major tenant that would come in.
Right.
So that the bank would be like, okay, yeah, I'll give you the money.
This is with the urban retail side.
Correct. So that's how you would be able to get the building without having, so if the building is listed for $1.25 million, you
Right.
don't have to show up with $1.25 million, right?
Right. Exactly.
Because the bank is gonna know that you have some income to pay back the loan. Maybe you need to pay 20% down or whatever that 1.2 is, right? So remember that.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, so when I hear you say that you're not gonna make an investment, we're not gonna have a first project until 3 to 5 years from now.
Mhm.
What I'm concerned about is that too long to just be sitting and doing? Because I don't, like, if you wanted to purchase a home, say that there's a home that exists that you can divide up into 5 apartments, right?
Mhm.
Let's just say that there is that. I think that you could find it or build it or whatever.
Mhm.
I think that you could get a down payment on something
Mhm.
and get income that's more than your mortgage to. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, I think that you
know,
will be
you're saying like the
5
way-
years or
right.
3 years from now to where you could buy something. People start putting in their money next month. You might be able to start with something smaller,
Mhm.
gather up enough money for a down payment, take that to a bank and get a loan for a mortgage, and then identify the tenants and let the tenants pay back the mortgage plus whatever the profit is. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it wouldn't be like you wouldn't necessarily have to wait
Right.
3 years or 5 years or 6 years or 10.
Okay.
You might be able to start sooner than that. Is that something that you would be willing to consider?
I'm open to all options.
So also, my last thing is, and I'm gonna stop, because I don't wanna dominate or like just keep talking, even though I love to chat.
Yes, you sound great on the microphone.
Oh, I love it. Should I sing? Okay,
I'm gonna
fine.
say.
So my last thing is, this.
Well, we can come back to it.
Okay, come back.
Yeah, I think Eddie had a comment, so we're gonna let Eddie speak.
It's kind of close on what she said. I was assuming like, now we could start up raising capital by doing like projects like maybe in the area.
Right.
Then 5 years from now, that big purchase.
Yeah.
Like, Jim
Like
said,
this.
Madison's buying like that.
Yeah.
Big commercial property.
And that, I'm starting to realize more and more that is probably the route to go. Once again, I'm still learning it too. So if there's a way of doing that, then I'm absolutely all for that. So that's definitely something.
what you were saying is, once everybody come pool their money together,
Mhm.
and once you get maybe like 10 grand, something like that, you kind of leverage that to get something.
Right.
You can go to an investor, you know.
Absolutely, which
People that
I,
develop that maybe willing to, get some money.
Yeah.
A few more points higher than the bank, but.
absolutely,
That might be an option as well.
absolutely, yeah, because I'm pretty sure from what I've seen on Stephanie's plan, I think our first year we're over 10 grand on our first year, everybody's, and this is just based on 10 people, I think. I don't think it was based on 15. So I definitely think that could happen. So that might be definitely a great option, and then use the Airbnb model possibly to do that.
Anything.
Or
It doesn't-
anything.
It doesn't have to be Airbnb. I mean,
Right.
You could buy a house, you could buy a small house
Mhm.
and,
And just rent it out. Yeah,
yeah,
Or
or you
just-
could partner with another group.
right.
Or you could partner with 2 other groups. So, I think there's multiple ways to skin the cat.
I think there's definitely a way to do that, but I also want to make sure that when we do get our capital, that we have enough capital still left over after we make our first investment. Does that make sense?
I understand.
Like, I don't want to have 10 grand and then put 10 grand into an investment, then we have nothing anymore. Because we don't know what,
High risk.
we
High
don't.
risk, high reward.
Well, yeah, that's fine. High risk, high reward, but we gotta make sure we have capital to cover
I understand.
any unexpected issues. And I guess that with the loan, I guess that will probably help cover that as well. But I'm just making sure that we're in a good spot as well when we make our first investment.
And the only reason why I bring that up is because I think that it's critically important for people to have a goal, right?
Yes.
So I know that you're gonna be working on what the official strategy, what the official plan is going to
Which
be for
I am
the investment group.
Currently working on, by the way. at the
And I know
moment.
you're gonna get feedback from other folks, but I
Yes.
think it's critically important for folks to have a goal, right? Because
Yes,
if I put my money in every month and I just come to meetings and listen to people drone on and talk about what the possibilities are, I'm gonna get annoyed. And
yes,
so I want to know that I'm gonna be working towards something. So year 1, what we're gonna do in December, that's
Yes.
like phenomenal. That's like showing progress. People need to be able to work towards something, people need to be able to see short-term progress.
yes,
Like, oh yes, we got this, we're gonna do this.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Absolutely. And that's kind of what I wanted to figure out what our first project is going to be. That's pretty much why I wanted to bring up that open discussion about that, because I do think it's time to find out what our project's going to be and work toward that goal. Absolutely. So I definitely agree with you 10 times over.
One option could be if we're gonna, partner with somebody else, instead of
Yes.
maybe buying like, income property, maybe buy something for, flip,
Mhm.
maybe buy some property and
Yes.
sell it.
Yeah.
That way you kind of, you invest that 10 grand,
Mhm.
partner with somebody else, as soon as you sell it.
You
pretty much
Get it.
double up that money.
Right. Exactly.
So you have to hold in like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
That's another option too, as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I love all these options. Like I said, I'm open to options. That's the whole point of the group. And then we just vote on it. I mean, that's really just what it's going to be. So all these options are viable for the group. It's just up to the partners. Like I said, it's up to you all. If you have these ideas and things you want to do, you have to present that plan to the group. So that's really what it is. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm open to everything, but you have to put together a plan, a proposal to the group to vote on for us to make those decisions. So that's really all there is to it. So all the ideas sound great. I like the Airbnb concept. I like the flipping. Me and Ashley what's that show we watch on HGTV all the time? There's a whole bunch of them. It's a couple that we watch. Flip or Flop.
Yep.
Constantly watch that show. I love that show. It's a good show. So I've learned a lot just from watching that. Thank you, Ashley, for putting me onto it. So I'm definitely into that too. So yeah, so absolutely into all those ideas for sure. I think we went way off topic of what we was doing, kind of, but we're gonna bring it back in. Bring it back in, and we'll come back to it too, because I want to talk a little bit more about it. I just want to finish up what I was talking about with the multifamily. I think we was talking about high demand. We got into the demographics, and then we kind of went into all these other things. So, real quick, just so I can finish up what I wrote down, because I want to complete what I did. I'm proud of myself for putting this together. I want to discuss the different type of classes of multifamily units, and then also the drivers of it real quick. So The different classes, you got 3 types of classes on multifamilies. It's A, B, and C, pretty much. You got your A, which is your best in class. Basically, what's usually in your suburban areas, your high-end townhomes, has multiple amenities in there. So you got your pools and your fitness centers, barbecues at the pool, all of that stuff, all the good stuff. Very, very high rents. There's a lot of that in Nashville right now. So there's a lot of Class A properties in Nashville. So you see them getting built left and right. You also have your B class. Your B class is considered like your workforce housing. So your typical 9-to-5 worker, Nissan guy, just considered viable housing to the median wage earner, pretty much. And then your C class, which is the lowest tier, barely functional, cheap to rent, older, outdated systems and designs. It's just it's a really just something you have to renovate and redo. It's like a big rehab project. So, yeah, just tore down, just bad. So those are your 3 types of properties. The 3 classes of properties, I'm sorry. And then also what drives the multifamily industry? What makes it what's the drivers for it, pretty much? Basically your ownership versus your rental growth. So how many people own homes, how many people are renting? So you use those demographics and data for that. The population growth, which we were just talking about, all the people that's moving into Nashville, that affects multifamily and how you choose where you want to invest in or which property you want to choose to purchase. Job growth affects it. If jobs are getting created, people are able to afford housing pretty much. So that's something to look at when you're doing your research, is not only checking the population growth, but making sure that that jobs are getting grown too, that people can get jobs and can afford to get the property that we're trying to get. And then once again, what we were just talking about, the demographic trends, which is like the millennials and how they're working, the baby boomers, which is another excellent point you brought up actually about, are we looking at college students or elderly people?
That's definitely too.
Oh, it's definitely too. Okay, good question, Stephanie. But yeah, but that's stuff to look at because you get your baby boomers are getting older, so it might be an opportunity where you can like start investing in maybe nursing homes or something like that. People might think about that because there is a high growth of baby boomers that are getting older and they're gonna need somewhere to stay. These millennials are out doing their own thing and they're not trying to take care of their parents. I can guarantee you this, just because how their mentality is right now. It's all about them and taking care of themselves. I'm also a millennial, but I'm taking care of my mama. I'm telling you that right now. What you got, Eugene?
I was gonna say, on the other sides of the family, multi-family housing, one a lot of these, and Section 8 subdivision statements. You get a lot of the guaranteed money, which is a lower rate